This is deep dish, right?
Yeah, but let's get deep.
So I'm going deep on both sides.
And Ndume, welcome to the platform, man. This is gonna be a major one. This is probably to me gonna be one of my biggest interviews I've ever done.
Well, listen, I appreciate that, and I really do.
Yeah. Wrongfully convicted for capital murder, 1985. I'm still trying. I have so many questions.
Right.
I have so many questions. How
I'm glad
a man can be in a whole nother state.
Right.
Never been to a state where they say you committed a capital murder.
Right.
And gonna pick you up and bring you to Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee to be specific.
Right.
I'm reading, doing the research, and and then the evolution of who you are as a human being.
Right.
How all that transpired, right, to the amazing artist that you are today. But man, I can't wait. People, if y'all can't hear it in my voice, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
No, listen, I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity, man. I respect what you're doing. I think it's really important. I mean, when you got somebody, particularly coming out of our community, especially coming out of our community, that's got a platform. And some knowledge that go along with it, that a whole lot of responsibility come along with that. And so it's actually an honor for me to actually be here with you and just sharing with you. My name is Ndume Olatushani. I was falsely accused in the state of Tennessee, Memphis, like you said, to be exact, for a murder robbery that happened in October. It happened on October the 2nd of 1983. I was put on trial for it a little over 2 years later. December the 1st, I think my trial started, and if you want to call it that. In my case, the people knew I was innocent. Everything that they brought in my trial, they actually fabricated it from, and I run through the 4 pieces of evidence that they actually used to convict me and ultimately, or not only convict me, but sentence me to death. And ultimately, I spent a total of 28 years in prison before I actually came home. And 20 of those years was sitting on death row right here in the state of Tennessee. And so during my trial, I was convicted in Memphis, Tennessee. And I don't know what people know about Memphis, Tennessee, but if you know anything about Memphis, Tennessee, you know it's a majority black city. It was a majority black city in '85 when I went to trial, and it's still a majority black city. But at the time, I was this young black male being accused of killing a white prominent person in Memphis, Tennessee, and was tried by an all-white jury. And I'm telling you, that speaks in volumes about how the system works. When you say, how is it that the people come and get somebody from a state and bring them to a place that I'd never been to. I'm telling you, the truth is more stranger than fiction with respect to how this system operates, with respect to how certain people are treated. And I'm talking about black and brown people, and poor white people too, but especially black and brown people, right? And so during my trial, like I said, they brought in 4 pieces of evidence that they used against me. First off, they had the people, when a crime happened, the people come, the crime scene technician, whatever they call these people, where they come fingerprint, take pictures, or whatever they do, right?
Forensics team.
Right. So, so this, the car that was actually used in the crime, the people said that they recovered the car minutes after the crime happened. So the crime scene person that came and processed the car, made this detailed report about where they took prints from the car and all this stuff here. So this guy, when he came and testified at my trial, he testified to everything that I said about he processed the car, where he took the pictures and all this stuff here, and he claimed that he had lifted a print over the right rear door off this car that was used in the crime. And so he testified to that. And so when the when the fingerprint person come in, which is somebody totally different, the person came in and matched the prints or whatever the case is, saying who prints it is or who's not, whatever the case is. And so this guy come in and testified that the print that this guy said he took from over the top of the right rear door of the car was my print. And so what they was withholding at the time was the 2 reports. The report where the person fingerprinted the car And that report showed that it was never in the print even taken from that part of the car, first off. And the other print, report that they actually had from the print examiner office said that they had checked my prints and my prints didn't match none of the prints that was found on the car. These was the reports they withheld during my trial, though, because if they would have said that, they wouldn't have been able to come in there and tell that lie.
Would have been. Right. They had to throw it out.
Yeah, they wouldn't. If they gave me all that information, I never would have been charged, right?
So they withheld that information from discovery.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Which they was obligated to turn over to me.
Wow.
So they withheld that stuff during the discovery. You should be a lawyer.
Well, look.
You know this stuff.
They go in jail for anybody. It's a discovery. So if you go in not knowing why they got you in there, just say, hey, I'll wait until I see what's in the discovery.
That's right.
And then, then I'll figure out what I need to do. But don't say nothing, ask for a lawyer, and then see the discovery.
Man, that's the best. Hey, listen, that's why this thing you're doing is so important, because I'm telling you what you just said, man. I'm telling you that I'm talking about so important that when most people that think, when the police come to lock you up, most people think that if you're guilty, you could talk your way out of it. But if people come and telling you they finna lock you up, ain't nothing you could say.
Right.
The best thing you could do is what you just said. When they reach you your rights and saying that you got a right to remain silent, you should stop them right there and say, that's exactly what I'm doing. I ain't got nothing else to say other than my name, and hell, you know who I am, so I ain't got nothing else to say to you.
Right.
And if the people still try to question you, and if you feel like, at the very least, if you feel like that you can't do nothing, you say, hey, listen, okay, I'm gonna talk to you, but go get a lawyer. I got a right to that, go bring a lawyer in there. When the lawyer come in there, you look at him and tell a lawyer. Tell these people, I done told them I ain't got nothing to say to them. If they want to talk to me, then they need to contact you first, period.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be saying nothing, because just what they tell you when they reach you your right, what you say can and will be used against you.
Right.
Right. So in my case, again, like I said, that was the first piece of evidence that they used against me. Second piece of evidence that they used against me, they had an eyewitness to come in.
Okay.
That eyewitness witnessed everything according to him. And they walked him through everything that he seen. Mm-hmm. And when he got to the point, when they say, you see the person in the courtroom, he pointed me out and said that he think I was the person, but wasn't 100% sure I was the person that committed the crime, right? And so he testified, and this is another thing people should know that. So once this guy testified, he got off the witness stand. But what I was entitled to, what they didn't give me, like they should have during this discovery, like you said, his pretrial statement. He gave a statement to the police right there on the scene of the crime, minutes after the crime happened, right? And so this guy, get everything he's saying in. And so after he got off the witness stand that morning, my lawyer, saying that this guy gave a pretrial statement, and the prosecutors tried to bum around like they didn't have one, but the judge compelled them if this person gave a statement. In fact, I think what it was that at some point my lawyer's saying that we need this pretrial statement that he gave to the police right there at the scene of the crime. We got that statement. And that afternoon, they went back to his job and brought him back and put him on the witness stand. And they, when this guy get on the witness stand, because his pretrial statement, the description that he gave of the perpetrator didn't look nothing like me. It certainly didn't fit me, right?
Right.
And so that's why they pulled him back. My lawyer requested that he be brought back. And this guy get on the stand and said, the only reason that he was identifying me is the people showed him several pictures of nobody but me, told him I was the person that committed the crime. Only thing he need to do is just come in there and identify me, and he shouldn't be fooled about somehow the way I changed my appearance, right?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. He came back and told back on the
He was
witness.
coached.
He told the jury that. You see what I'm saying? And so, so that was the second piece of evidence. They actually brought in another eyewitness. This guy witnessed the crime just like the other guy did. He got up there and said I was not the person that committed the crime. And based on based on that, my lawyer didn't ask him no questions. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Once this guy testified to what he witnessed,
Yeah.
and he wasn't saying I was the person that committed the crime, then my lawyer felt like, well, hell, we ain't got to even talk to this guy. But had my lawyer talked to him, this guy would have told him what he told lawyers years later, which is why I'm sitting in part why I'm sitting here right now. He told gave an affidavit saying that the people showed him autopsy pictures of the victim, did the same thing, showed him several pictures of me, told him I was the person. The only thing he needed to do was come in there and just, ID me or whatever the case was. But he didn't do that. He came in there and told the truth, right? And like I said, my lawyer didn't ask him nothing, but had he asked him that, all that would have came out during my trial, even though I don't know that it would have made much difference.
Right.
Because like I said, this previous witness, he told the people what he told them, right? And so, but like I said, the second witness, I don't find this stuff out. I'm sitting on death row, I think about 15 years at that point before I'm getting this, getting wind about what he had actually said.
Information, yeah.
Right, getting this information, right?
And it ain't even new information. It's just information that wasn't disclosed to you.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But like I said, the second piece of evidence was that eyewitness said that he thought I was the person, and we know what that was. And then the third thing that they used, and we found out that they brought a person in, she said that she didn't know me, never seen me in her entire life, but I showed up at her house with somebody else the day the crime actually happened. And so they used her to place me in Memphis, Tennessee, the day the crime actually happened, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, then we found this out, the police knew about her because she was involved in the crime. That's how they actually found out about her. And so we didn't find out until years later, again, like I said, not only was she involved, but she was, the stuff that they had locked me up for here, that's what they was going around doing to
everybody.
Yeah, robbing.
How old are you at this time?
At the time, I think I was 25, 26 years old at the time.
Very young man.
Yeah, exactly. I was in my prime.
And so, and I don't know if too many people ask you this, but what were you doing? What was you doing before all this happened? What was life like before all of this was going on?
Man, I think in terms of, I was out there working. We actually, my family at the time, and it's still true today. My family owned rental property, so I was always doing some work.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
My mother, when I was growing up, my mother would actually, anytime she had somebody that had to pay somebody to come and fix something, she would always make us go watch and say, next time if something needs to happen, you need to be ready to actually fix it or whatever. So I learned a lot of that stuff growing up. And life for me, I had, young kids. I had 2 young sons.
Yeah.
My whole family in St. Louis. Up until that point.
Yeah. No record, no.
Oh no, and see that's the thing that you asked this question earlier about how is it that the people settled on me as a suspect.
Yeah.
Right?
How did they place somebody that's in St. Louis,
right,
in Memphis, Tennessee?
Well, 2 things. That I did have a previous record for some petty stuff for burglary and stealing and that stuff there. None of the stuff that they had actually ever accused me of, talking about robbing and murdering somebody,
right,
or even stealing no car.
Right.
And so, but what they did, the car was actually stolen from the St. Louis airport, from Hearst Rental Car Company operating out of the airport, and they know that these people that, the people that's likely committed the crime, they know that these people were stealing a lot of cars from the airport up there, and they was driving around, because this is some of the evidence that they withheld from me. I'm telling you, the people knew I was innocent. So what they did was, once they recovered this car, whatever investigations they did, they learned about this group of people. I'm telling you that this woman was connected to, that came and testified at my trial, that placed me in Memphis the day the crime actually happened. But what the people knew was that they, during the investigation about, excuse me, that these cars. I guess what they did was went back and was looking at had they recovered any more cars that were stolen from the airport in St. Louis. And when they did that search, they knew of 2 cars, and they knew the people.
Right.
They went out to the neighborhood where they recovered one of the cars at, and talked to neighbors, and the neighbors not only told them who the people was that that had that car, but they also too told them about the car that was actually used in this crime, that they had seen them in this car and some more stuff, right?
Yeah.
So all this information, like I said, they would tell from me about these other people that, like I said, the people that likely committed this crime. And what we was able to do was that, the lawyers and investigators was working on my case, they think that, and we never got definitive proof, but they think that these people that was stealing all these cars, because it wasn't like they were stealing 1 or 2 cars, they were stealing a lot of cars from the Hearst rental car or the airport. What they was
It was organized.
yeah, they was organized, and so they actually they think that these people was actually had somebody that worked in Memphis down there somewhere that was helping them actually, change the VIN numbers. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but they was taking these cars and reselling them.
Okay.
And when they weren't going around, because they also too know that these people, based on their investigation, they knew these people was traveling like to Illinois, because like I said, this woman that talking about I showed up at her house that placed me in Memphis. They was prostitutes, and so
That was a whole organized crime thing.
Right.
So
So
they
they
to chop shops and
they would actually take these. So they knew these people would travel like up to St. Louis, Illinois, Chicago, because they had all this information that they would be stopping at these truck stops, and hell, if you got some people in the car selling pussy, hell, that a lot of these guys would take them to these truck stops, and that's where they would actually work there. So the people knew about this whole whole other
operation.
right, they knew about it, and so that's
That's how you got wrapped up into.
yeah. I'm thinking no, because none of these people, I never knew them, none of this stuff.
Right.
These people never explain, man. Listen, that's the crazy thing about it too. They never explain how in the hell, because I'm telling you, I never been locked up for stealing no car, and never been talking about no robbery and none of this stuff here.
Right.
So how they.
Pulled your name out the hat.
How my name came out of the hat, I'm telling you, I was just an unfortunate person.
Wow.
Because you know what, here's the deal too. I mean, like I told you, I'm down there, and the people did everything that they needed to do to not only convict me, but I'm telling you, but for my family and good people, I wouldn't be sitting there talking to you, because they would have executed me, right? But one of the things happened. When I got locked up, I was down in the Memphis County Jail, and so I was housed up there with people charged with the same thing that I was charged with, because they had a little separate spot for people charged with murder. And I'm asking these guys, who's the lawyers down here that's handling these cases? And this guy name kept popping up, Marvin Ballin, right? And so I'm saying, well, then maybe this is the person I need to be talking to. So I get the information from one of the guys that I was up in there. I call them, get them on the phone, and tell them I'm down in the jail, what I'm charged with, and I'm interested in talking to them about possibly representing me, right? And so this guy, he said, hey, listen, the next time I'm over to jail, seeing the client, I'll pull you out and we can certainly talk about your case or whatever the case is, right, about this representation. And it was probably within a week that he was over there seeing somebody, and he pulled me out. So I go down and I talk to this guy, let him know I'm down there, what I'm charged with, and the whole 9 yards. And we talked about, just talked about
The case in general?
Yeah, just kind of general stuff, because he ain't know nothing about the case. And what he said, though, is that I mean, he said what the money he wanted, and he said that he needed, I think, either $12,000 or $15,000 up front as a retainer's fee, and he said that once he got the money, that he would actually look into the case, come back over and talk to me, right? And so probably about a week or so, my people scraped together the money that he wanted as the retainer fee, sent it to him, and it wasn't long after that this guy back over to the jail, and when he came back, he was telling me, he said, I looked into the case, it's gonna be a lot of work, and I just don't think I'm gonna have the time, blah, blah, blah. So he telling me this stuff here, and so I kind of pushed back a little bit, because I'm saying, here, it was a murder case.
Right.
We sit down and talk, right?
Right.
And so I pushed back on him. The guy, he just straight told me, say, listen, it's a lot of pressure coming from downtown to close this case, and I don't want to be involved in it. Gave the money back. You see what I'm saying? So that was not an issue, but what that said to me was that it's probably unlikely that I would get another lawyer out of Memphis that showed the integrity that this guy did. You see what I'm saying? So that's when I consulted with my family, telling them that we probably need to bring in a lawyer out of St. Louis.
Yeah.
Because of everything that I just explained, and that's what we actually did. But man, the people ran rings around this guy out of St. Louis because first off, he was totally ill prepared. He had never handled a death penalty case, so he was totally ill prepared for that piece of it. And with what the people did, I'm telling you in terms of, I told you about the stuff that they presented against me, and the fourth piece of evidence that, getting back to that they used against me, I was involved in a relationship with a young woman at the time, that she got into some trouble, and some shit I ain't have nothing to do with, don't know nothing about, but she got into some trouble, and they had her to come and testify, talking about that I confessed to her that I had committed a murder in the state of Tennessee, and so they paid her and got rid of her criminal charges. And so when she came and testified, they
railroaded you.
Man, the people, when she and that was one thing too, that when she get on the witness stand, talking about all this stuff that she was actually telling the people, that my lawyer asked him, well, you ain't come forward with this information before, and did the people pay you or anything? She up there, no, I just, it's the right thing to do. So she lied about all that stuff. That was only years later. That
how does that make you feel? Like when
I'm sitting there?
Yeah, when you've been sitting there 15, 20, 28
Oh, you mean
years,
once I found out?
Yeah, once you find out, and you like, I know you was lying from the jump. But now you want to, I'm on death row.
Right.
Now you want to, whatever happened in your life, now it made you say, dang, Ndume is really innocent. I took whatever deal for my own self-interest, but I didn't put a man behind bars. And like, how do you wrestle with that?
I don't think that, man, I think that, and I, you probably, and the viewers, I'm sure some of them know that, if we live long enough, some gonna knock you down. You see what I'm saying? And the important thing is how you pick yourself back up. And in response to that question about how did I actually deal with, I think for me, I dealt with it in the beginning because I knew she was lying all along. You see what I'm saying? So, when I get the proof to show to the people that what I was saying all along, that this woman lied, you understand what I'm saying? I think that it was probably, I'm sure I must have had a pretty good feeling about, okay, now here's some damn proof that all along, you see what I'm saying? To show what I've been saying all along, right? That I'm sure I must have felt good about that. But the reality is, man, that by the time I did get my hands on that, I ain't have no no emotions or anything invested in
Right.
her at that point. I'm talking about, when I say that, I'm talking about, you know, just any bad feelings or good feelings. I mean, it's like
thank you and
right, you did what you did, and I done moved on, right?
initially, you know, all white jury found you guilty.
Right.
What are you processing at 25, 26?
When that's happening?
Yeah, what are you processing?
Man, you know, when I was sitting there, like I said, the whole thing was a sham process, right? Because I knew I shouldn't have been there in the first place, right? But, and it's really hard. Was certainly hard for me, and I would imagine that's true for most people if you sitting in court, especially if you innocent and you got people sitting up there lying, that everything inside of me, you know, wanted to shout out and some more stuff.
Right.
But you know, when you sitting in court, cause I mean, when, for instance, when she up there lying, I'm trying to talk to the lawyer. Man, she up here lying, blah blah blah, whatever the case is, and obviously he just trying to, you know, just, you know, hold it down or whatever the case is, right? Because I guess in their mind, they don't, you know, somehow you think this going to affect the jury. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That I got to sit here all stoic, like ain't nothing happening, and these people talking about taking my life, and everybody coming up that line, and I knew the people when you coming up in here, saying the stuff that they doing. That I mean, the people, like I said, in my case, man, them people knew I was innocent. But that didn't matter. The only thing they wanted to do was close the case. That's the only thing that they was concerned about. Just what that lawyer told me, man, these people, it's a lot of pressure to close this case. And he said he didn't want to be involved. And for me, that told me a whole lot. About
the system. They already had their mind up, their whole system. The whole legal system in Memphis at the time already said we condemning this man. This is the one he's the person that's going down for this.
We're gonna throw the whole state behind,
regardless.
That's exactly what they did, and so, you know, like I said, when I'm going through that process, you know, the most hurting thing, man, about when I was there is that you know, when my mother, they put my mother on the stand, my lawyer did, and, you know, put her on the stand, and I had to just kind of sit there and, you know, witness her, you know, pretty much begging these folks to spare my life. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you, that was the most hurting thing for me, because at that point, you know, I'm saying screw all them people up in there because of what at that point they had already convicted me, because in the death penalty trial, it's called like a bifurcated trial. Basically, the jury come in, listen to the evidence to first find whether or not you're guilty or innocent. And if they find you guilty, like in my case, they found me guilty, but then they go back and deliberate, a whole nother deliberation process to decide whether or not they want to sentence a person to death or life in prison. And so doing that, like I said, after the guilt phase, then we putting on evidence about why this jury should spare my life. And the only thing my attorney put on was my mother. You see what I'm saying? And so just having to, you know, sit and, like I said, have her
beg for your life.
Begging these white folks. So that was like I said, the most. I mean, if I had to say something that I'm talking about, really just kind of. The people offered me a 25-year sentence during the middle of my trial. This how crazy it was. You see what I'm saying? And once I refused to take it, I'm telling them, here, you need to go back out there and tell them I ain't taking it, I ain't commit the crime, right? And shit, they just doubled down at that point. And like I said, everything that they put together, they did exactly what they needed to do. To not only, like I said, find me guilty and sentence me to death, and I'm telling you, but for good people, same thing you doing here, raising awareness. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be sitting there. I don't have no doubt about that.
I don't know if anybody can really imagine or fathom having to sit in a courtroom, unless you've been through it, right?
Right.
That
And even if you've been through it, there's something totally different when you're sitting there, people talking about your life.
yeah, you're innocent.
Life and death.
You're
And
innocent.
you're innocent.
And you innocent. And you ain't just talking about, okay, yeah, they're gonna give you 5 years senior.
Right.
They talking about your life. They want to
Talking
take
about-
your life from you.
Right, talking about
They want
executing.
to take your life. Like, is any of this even registered? Because because we can, again, like we can go on Facebook, TikTok, and all this and watch these things, but to actually a lot of times be in proximity to somebody who has actually had
that's
to
something
walk,
totally different.
walk through this.
Right.
Man, what is your mental health?
Right.
Right. What is your mental health like?
Right. Man.
If you could explain it to people, you know,
Right,
how
when that was actually happening.
Yeah.
Man, like I said, I was certainly, you know, you heard these people throw this stuff around talking about the angry black man. I'm telling you that I truly was an angry black man, you know, when this stuff was happening to me. And you know, just having you know, first off, like I said, go through this sham process and sitting up there, you know, and having all these people, you know, come in and put on all these lies. And if you ever been accused of something that you know you didn't do, I mean, it's, you know, you sitting there, somebody accusing you of something, you know you didn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, other than saying that, hell, I ain't do it, then ain't really much else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that for me is, like I said,
your life is literally in other people's hands.
right. And I think, man, because in the beginning, I'm saying that, I know these people ain't finna convict me, you know, for what they was actually talking about. I was real hopeful about that.
Yeah.
But I told you, like I said, in the middle of my trial, they
Offered you that 25.
offered me a 25-year sentence and told me that I would be out of jail at the time, because I had been locked up, you know, about a year or so.
Yeah.
Say I'd be out of jail in about 4 or 5 years if I pled guilty and took a 25-year sentence. And so
you had been on papers the rest of the 21 years.
yeah, whatever that would have been, but I
yeah.
would have been out of jail, right?
Right.
I told my lawyer when they came, man, no, you
Right.
need to go back out there and tell them I ain't interested in taking.
And we know there's many people,
Right.
many innocent people,
Right.
who take deals like that.
Of course.
Every day, because one, they got families, they tired, they don't want to be in prison or jail, county jail
Right.
no more, and they feel they have no hope. And like, I know I'm innocent, but
This your best way out.
this is my best way out. So I got to
Right.
take this 10 piece or this 25 piece or
Right.
this 30 piece or whatever it may be.
Right.
And it happens every day.
And you know the thing about it is that, and what makes it easy for that to happen is that when you got people sitting in, like you said, the county jail, particularly in Memphis County Jail, and I'm sure it's true in a whole bunch of jails, but Shelby County Jail was certainly one of the worst jails in this country for people to be sitting. I mean, the federal government had to come in and, you know, with a decree and some more stuff to try to straighten the jail out. I think it's probably still, I'm sure it still got problems. But, you know, when you sitting in those circumstances and you around people, you know, you seeing people go to court, same stuff you in there for, people go to court, and they coming back with their head in their hand talking about these people that gave them all this time, you know, doing a trial, or even if they pled guilty to it. And when you have a lawyer coming and telling you, you know, the people you looking at 40 years or how much ever time you looking at, but I didn't talk to the prosecutor this morning, and they saying that if you plead guilty, whatever that is, then you could take this and you ain't facing this other punishment, right? And so, and this another thing, and I know I'm switching a little bit, but when you look and see, I was just seeing in the news today that this woman hooked up in this Trump stuff, you know, plead guilty or whatever the case is, you know, she won't be going to jail, none of that stuff there. But, you know, when black and brown people exercise their right to go to trial, they always punishing us. You're going to make sure that they get the max. But when other people do it, it's just like you see some of these people that was charged with this when they try to overthrow this government.
Yeah, storm the Capitol, yeah, the insurrection.
You take some of them people, went to trial, found guilty, you don't see them getting the maximum sentence.
No.
But I'm telling you, anytime you
You know,
exercise your right for a trial, they're going to make sure that they give you the maximum sentence. You see what I'm saying?
Like, oh, you gonna buck the system? Okay.
You getting the maximum sentence. And so when, like I said, you have somebody, and I had this, I'll tell you another incident I had actually. But when you have people sitting under those circumstances,
Yeah.
and like I said, most people sitting in jails, if you got a public defender, don't make no use your own lawyer, that most of the time when they prosecute here, they sit down with them, you know, tell them we offering you go down to any courtroom in the morning, you're anywhere in this country, and you go in there, they got a bunch of defendants coming in there, right? And I'm telling you, before they came in there, before they bring in there, most of the time the prosecutors and the lawyers getting together, they go down the list. John Smith, that's your client, I offer him this much time. You can tell them that, to go on down the line. That's how they do this stuff. And so when the lawyer come, he got an obligation to come and tell you what the people say. But like I said, a lot of time when people sitting there here, just like you said, if you innocent, you see people coming through here, people knocking their head off, even though that you innocent. You've been sitting there a while, and the people telling you if you plead guilty, you can get out of here. Some people gonna do it. Some people gonna do it.
Like you mentioned earlier, it affects black and brown and poor folks.
Of course.
And that includes black, brown, white, yellow, green. If you're poor, you're poor. They can't afford to combat and fight the system. Right.
And most of the time, it's really black and brown because
and we know that's disproportionately.
The system works. Even with poor white folks, they do what they can to make sure that they got an easy exit out. So they can be outside the jail pre-trial. So they ain't under the pressure that you sitting in a damn cell.
So you get this sentencing.
Right.
You on death row.
Yeah.
What does one do on death row?
Right.
What is an innocent man at that do on death row?
Man, you know, when I landed, I'm in a cell that I can't even stretch my arms out. 4 by 9 foot cell, you can't even stretch your arms out. That cell ain't even long as this room. 4 by 9 foot cell, right? 23 hours a day. Every time I come out, I'm chained and shackled like some imaginary monster around your ankles, waist, and some more stuff to be scooted wherever they taking you. And when you went outside, you in a damn cage. And so, I mean, when I landed on death row, like I said, I'm pretty angry about shit where I found myself at the time, right? And I think, man, that the thing that I mean, when you say how I got through that fire, the thing that happened to me, man, was that a couple of years into my imprisonment, my mother was actually killed in a car accident, right? Yeah.
Sorry to hear
and so, I appreciate that. So she was killed in a car accident. And the last time I seen her prior to that was almost a year. It wasn't quite a year, like maybe 10 months or so. And the last time I seen her, physically seen her, I would talk to her, but physically seen her was, you can only just kind of embrace and hug coming and going. And, when my mother was leaving the visiting room, excuse me, I just looked at her, I said, oh girl, I wouldn't know what to do if I ain't had you in my life, right? And it was true, because I knew, man, listen, when the world was dumping on me, I knew I had my mother. And, nothing else, I knew I had my mother, right?
Yeah.
And so she just kind of said, oh yeah, you're going to know what to do when the time comes, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, neither one of us knew that would be the last time we would actually physically see each other, right? But so I'm in my cell, and I know it's true anywhere you're at right now, but especially when you're sitting in prison. You know, if the people come and tell you, we need to take you to make a phone call home, somebody in your immediate family is dead. Brother, sister, they let you have grandparents, but father, mother, sister, siblings or whatever, and your grandparents, them the only people. I mean, anybody else, they don't even matter, right? But so the people come to my cell and say, hey, listen, we need to take you to make this phone call home, right? So when they, immediately when they said that, I'm already thinking, you know, what my mother gonna tell me about somebody else in my family, right? But when I get down there, it's my sister telling me about my mother. And man, you kind of see this stuff on TV and stuff, right? Like, you know, she telling me this stuff, but everything's slowing down. It's like, you know,
surreal.
Yeah, this stuff happening. It's just like you see on TV. This actually happening to me. Cause ain't nothing inside of me ready to hear what she's telling me, right? Yeah. But you know, in them few seconds, you know, I hear what she said, and man, I'm telling you, shit. For the first 3 days, man, if my eyes was open, I was crying. If I wasn't crying, I was balled up in a tear-soaked sleep. You see what I'm saying? Just trying to get away from the pain. Yeah. I'm telling you, cause. Listen, I was already sitting where I was sitting, but when that happened, man, yeah, I couldn't be hurt no more, right? And so, man, I'm laying down. I'm talking about, you know, tear-stained, dry face, balled up on a damn 2-inch foam mattress, if that's what you want to call it, on the slab of steel. This 3 days after that, I get this news, right? Yeah. I'm telling you, Jerome, clear as I'm sitting here talking to you, man, my mother came to me in a dream. The only thing she said was, get up. And I'm telling you, I jumped straight up. This how I really was. I jumped straight up because I'm thinking, boy, damn, this nightmare is actually over. That's I jumped up feeling that. That's how I really was. But I woke up, it was what it was, but I'm telling you, that was the thing that literally got me up, because I'm telling you, for 3 days, hell, I ain't want to do nothing, couldn't do nothing. Yeah. But after she came to me, I got up, and obviously it was a process, you know, trying to get through that. But I'm telling you, it was those things, what she said to me the last time I seen her, you know, about I was going to know what to do, that I was able to pick myself back up, I mean, you know, with some other stuff, but that's when I really began to just get on this track. Right. Like you said, how do you get through that? Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Man, because, again, unless you've been to prison, it ain't nothing that you can really fathom or think that you ain't know, if I was in there, I would do this. Ain't none of that. If you ain't in there, you don't know what you would do. You know, it's like, you know how you hear people, if it was me, I wouldn't tell. You don't know what you would do. And when them detectives and everything, you don't know what you do in that room. You might give up the whole house. Who knows?
But and that's what a lot of them doing.
Yeah. So being a person that's innocent, on death row, and you hear all these crazy prison stories, you hear all of these things of just rehabilitation in quotation marks, like if they, you know, who was in Ndume during those 20 years? Because you in your prime, you're a young man, right? You know, you still maturing, you still finding out who you are, and now you got to do all of this encaged.
In the damn 4x9
4x9,
right?
It's still a phone, you know, on the slab of steel, right. How are you finding yourself? Who are you becoming? Right. Like, and then again, like, is it people trying to test your manhood, who you are? Are those? Because I know that doesn't happen to everybody, right? You know, but are those some of the experiences that you happen to deal with or figure out, or what was that life like for you? What was your lifestyle like on death row every day, just every day?
Well, first off, every day I was trying to make it different because hell, it's so routine.
Yeah.
That I knew what day it was by whatever they shoved in the door for breakfast. I could tell you what day
that's
it
your
was.
calendar all today.
Right,
Okay.
it's Wednesday.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That but in terms of you know, the first 10 years that I was in prison, I refused to have a TV. You see what I'm saying? Because I wanted to pick up some law books particularly.
Right.
And we were just trying to learn about this process that I was going through at the time. And so I chose not to have a TV, like I said, in that little small space because I knew, you know, you can sit down and get lost into that.
Right.
And still, you know, sitting where I was sitting, right?
Right.
And so, so I didn't have refused to have a TV, and like I said, I'm picking up books, right? And the only reason I ended up with a TV is because I wanted to witness the Million Man March.
Yeah.
When they was having that in '95, I think it was. I asked a friend of mine, send me a TV because I want to witness this history, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't get the TV. That bastard kept the TV. I didn't get the TV till about maybe 8 or 10 days after that stuff that actually happened, right? But you know, like I said, what I wanted to do mainly was, like I said, pick up some books and begin to learn about this process. You know, so I can understand when I'm trying to help myself, then I can have some understanding about that, right? And so that, I think, in terms, because I was never devoid of hope, man. I'm talking about the whole time I'm telling you I'm sitting there, 28 years, I'm telling you I was never devoid of hope that one day I would be free.
Man, that's powerful.
I'm telling you,
that take a strong-minded person because,
right.
you know, you got to think about it. You on death row.
Yeah.
That could already deter you, break you down.
Seeing some people getting executed.
Seeing people get literally executed.
Right.
Then you have deaths in your family. Your
right.
mama's passing away. You're losing people.
Yeah.
And then it ain't nothing you can do about it. You just gotta sit.
You gotta sit.
And so to still remain hopeful.
Yeah.
That's resiliency.
Man, I'm telling you, I mean, certainly there was times of despair.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it was always there was fleeting moments for me because I knew I shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I refused to, you know, succumb to the pressures. I'm telling you that, not I particularly sitting on death row, but I mean, prisons in this country ain't. I mean, you know, you hear this stuff, people outside talking about, oh, they're in there watching TV, cable, and all these. I'm telling you, a lot of that shit is a lie, man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? People are being warehoused, sitting in cells, and it ain't all what people, you know, trying to make
ain't
out
what you
like,
seeing on movies and all that.
Yeah, like people in there, you know, you ain't in prison.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And
it's levels.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Tennessee is certainly would be among, you know, the states with some of the worst prisons in this country. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so, just pushing, just trying to, like I said, push through. Push through that. It certainly was a struggle, but I'm telling you, I was never devoid of, like I said, hope of one day being free.
You know, your mother unfortunately passed away in a fatal car accident. Where do you find? Because even anywhere you go, you need, it's good to have people you can lean on, good people you can talk to, vent to, or just run stuff by.
Right.
Did you find that with other people on the road?
Yeah, right.
Or did you have other people on the outside that you can call and be like, man, look, I'm going through this? What was that? What was that team of people that you can lean on, that support group of people that you can lean? What did that look like?
Man, I always had my family with me. You know what I mean? And I was fortunate to always have contact with somebody outside of prison, because I knew that was one of the things that I needed to do to stay sane, was, make sure that I got some connections outside of, prison or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, like I told you, well, let me say this here. I got a GED while I was sitting on death row, because I dropped out of high school, right?
Right.
But I'm telling you, I got a GED while I was sitting on death row, took some college courses, became a certified paralegal, because I'm telling you, I was always preparing for freedom.
Yeah.
And so,
Always preparing for freedom.
I was always preparing for freedom to one day, because I'm telling you, I never, in the core of me, ever believed that I wouldn't be free one day. And so, so I was always preparing for that. And, you know, just trying to, you know, because I was never one of them people, even though I dropped out of high school, I'm telling you, I was one of them kids that used to cry to go to school before I could go to school.
Yeah.
And I never had a problem making a grade and none of that stuff there, but I certainly grew up at a time where a lot of shit was going on, particularly around race, for instance. I mean, because I grew up at a time, you know, when this whole busing stuff was happening.
Yeah, segregation and all that.
All that stuff, all that stuff was happening. And so, so I went from the kindergarten to 4th grade to a, you know, all black school for that matter, because it was right across the street from the project. The Pruitt Nago projects was in St. Louis, and these was the first high-rise projects that the federal government tore down because they had became so lawless. I'm telling you, rape, robbery, and murder was the order of the day. I'm telling you, really. You see what I'm saying? So this is and some of that wasn't missed on me. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, I ended up dropping out of school, and but I always knew the importance of education. That's why, like I said, when I was sitting there on death row, that I, you know, went back and did what I didn't do prior to, you know, going in there. And I did that for a couple of reasons, really. One thing is that I, like I said, I wanted to be prepared for freedom, but I also, too, wanted to have some credibility when I was talking to people in my family or other young people that I had access to about the importance of education. And so, so that, I mean, that's one of the avenues that helped me just kind of stay sane.
And so let's get into another avenue that you're doing all over the world now. This art. So you know, you wrongfully convicted. You're trying to figure out shit. You're trying to deal with things that are happening on the outside and the inside. And in some immaculate way, you become this amazing artist.
Well, I appreciate that.
And you know, and a lot of your work is rooted in your experience. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Man. How did that process? I know a little bit about it. I got a little inside scoop. But tell us how do you pick up such a thing and then say, damn, this is for me. Yeah, this is for me. And it's like, and does this happen without being wrongfully convicted? I don't know if you ever ponder on that.
I have, and I don't think that. Well, first off, I think we born artists. I mean, it's just you hear you an artist up in this room right now. You see what I'm saying? And we ain't got to do nothing but look around and see what people done did to know that we all born with this creative gene, But I'm telling you, before I found myself sitting in that cell I was telling you about, I couldn't draw a crooked line straight, didn't have no interest in, really, I ain't have no interest in art. But the thing that did happen, it was a guy on death row with me. They actually executed him years later, but he was an artist. And I commissioned this guy to do a portrait of him because I wanted to send it to my mother. She never got a chance to see it, but she wouldn't have recognized it no way because when the guy did it, it didn't look nothing like me, and the thing is that I actually, I think I gave him like 6 or 7 cartons of cigarettes because that was like the currency at the time, And I told you I'm sitting in this little cell. And every time I look at this so-called portrait, I'm thinking, man, I could have did a better job and kept my money, So that's how bad it was in terms of, you know, supposedly being a portrait. It was my art, man. I'm telling you that was another thing that I, you know, kind of leaned into this creative thing that, like I said, we all artists. Some people may not figure it out, but we all born with that creative gene, right? And that so it was like when that thing happened to my mama, that the things that she said, and I'm telling you what I was telling myself when I got that portrait, because I still had that sitting in my cell at the time. And every time I look at it, I'm thinking, man, I could have did a better job myself, right? Yeah. And so, but that was the things. When I'm in that small space trying to find freedom, I'm telling you, that's the thing that pain allowed for me to actually, if you ever been inside a jail or a prison, if paint on the wall, there's some dull, gray, off-white,
right.
If some on the wall.
Exactly.
So it's pretty much devoid of color, right?
Yeah.
But man, painting, because I started out drawing, and and eventually I was able to, get to where I was able to, the people started allowing me to have paint. They would take a paintbrush and cut it down like, you know how long a paintbrush is. They would cut the damn brushes down like that.
Yeah, so it won't be a weapon.
Yeah, talking about a weapon or something, but I started painting. I'm telling you, using color became a form of resistance for me in terms of, because it was like, even though that they had me, like I said, in this colorless environment, what I knew is that they couldn't stop the color that was actually happening in my head, right? Because that's the one thing I'm telling you about, and that's true anywhere we at in life. I'm telling you that if you don't understand that the one thing that you always have control over is your thoughts, your mind. I mean, you have to get that away. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, it's just like we're in this room there. Here, somebody can come in there and, just like when I was in that cell, if they came in and said, it's your time, I could fight and struggle. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But ain't nothing prevent me because they got a whole team. We can come in there and extract you if we want to. Right. And so that I couldn't do nothing about. Right. But the one thing that I could do something about is you could do whatever you want to do, but you can't get inside my head and control my thoughts how I'm gonna act or react or whatever the case is. That's gonna all be me. Right.
When you hear the word justice today, what are your thoughts? And what is your take on the word justice and what that means?
Well, it certainly, I would say this here, it certainly don't mean what these people, I mean, when you talking about justice, we know, when you talking about criminal justice, it's really a criminal system. Yeah. Because there ain't no justice in terms of, particularly when you come to somebody like me, hell, how can you call, I'm here despite the system, not because the system worked. I'm here despite that. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So you can't say that somehow I went through a just system. Yeah. When you took 28 years of my life, 20 of them facing the threat of death. Yeah. I mean, ain't no justice in that. I'm saying that was a criminal act that the people committed against me because, like I said, hell, they knew I was innocent. Yeah. Everything that they brought in court, they fabricated, and the evidence of my innocence, they withheld it. So, ain't nowhere in there talking about no justice. So when I think about, justice, I think that, for me, I guess, it's really just boiled down to, I'm saying that I know that if we rooted in our humanity, right, I know that we certainly possess the capacity to deal justly with each other. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But if we ain't rooted in that, then, you ain't finna get no justice. Yeah. Whether it's coming from me, whoever, or the system, or whatever it is. Yeah. Because if I can't look at you, and want for you what I want for myself, you see what I'm saying? Then I ain't recognizing you as a human being.
What would you tell other men and women that they might see this, might hear this, that's currently incarcerated, that's currently in cage? Right. What words would you give them to help them possibly find hope, but don't give up.
Right.
Or just get, as a person that's been literally in
Right.
that seat, on that bed, on that bunk.
Right.
What could you say to them at this moment if they are something that's happening outside?
Right.
They having a hard side inside.
Right.
They're innocent as well.
Right. And there's plenty of people.
What do you say to that
Yeah.
man or woman?
I would simply say this here, that I don't care where you mired down in the mud holes of life. I'm telling you, you can always get up and walk away. As long as you're able to get up and put your best foot forward and think and hope about something different than what you face. And I'm telling you, then you can get up and walk away from it and put some distance between that. And I know that's kind of simplistic in the way that I'm saying it, but it's actually true.
Yeah.
That, like I said, whatever's got you mired down, that particularly in this system, the system, man, we dealing with a system, is really an industry.
Yeah.
When you got hundreds of billions of dollars involved in locking people up, somebody going to jail first, or whether you're guilty or innocent.
Yeah.
Somebody going. And I'm saying
involved.
that, but what the people that are sitting there should always know, if you sitting there, I don't care what you sitting there for, the thing that you should be doing is just trying to use that time to actually learn what you can to come out and be a productive person. Because there's more people out here in the streets that want to see something good for you than bad.
Yeah.
But can't nobody want for us what we don't want for ourselves. And so I would say, again, that if you're sitting where you're sitting, most people sitting in jail and prison across this country coming home.
Yeah, 92, 94, something. It's a high rate. Yeah.
So you should be preparing to come home.
Preparing for your freedom, like you said.
Yeah,
that's a title of a book right there.
I'm telling you, prepare for freedom,
Prepare
because
for freedom.
if you ain't got a plan, you're going back, and that's part of the plan. That's the way this system works. They want you to walk out of there and without any, they want you to walk out of there so you can recidivate right back in there. And for the family members that's out there, I'm telling you, the main thing that you could do to keep your loved ones out of jail and prison, while they sitting there, wrap around them.
Yeah.
Because it's the people that, when they come out to a family and community, these are the people that come out and stay out. Because I ain't never met nobody sitting in prison saying that I can't wait to get out of here and come back. Most people sitting in jail and prison want to get out and stay out. But if you take a person and lock them up for X amount of years, don't give them no training, no opportunity to be trying to do better. You just warehousing people.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that you setting people up for failure. And but the people that's sitting there, if you understand that, then you got to get up and do something for yourself, because otherwise you're gonna be right in that cycle, recidivating right back in.
But you said something that I think is even just as crucial as the support system on the outside.
Right, that's very important.
Peers, friends, family members.
Right.
Because I think we can tend to, they let them
Out of sight, out of
mind. But then I don't think, we have to understand how important community is.
Of course.
When they come home. Because they finna go through housing barriers, employment barriers.
Right.
They stigmatized because
Right.
they have a felony of, they just done prison time. So they gonna need that support system more than ever.
Of course.
And we gotta stay with them through the trials and tribulations of them trying to figure everything out, wrap around them, and not just saying, okay, hey, you home, get a job, make a way, figure it out. And then you see that a lot, especially if you're a man. It's like you back out here, you got to figure it out. Welcome to the real world.
And when you say that, right, think about it from this perspective, because I'm telling you it's true that you take somebody, if they sitting in jail, if they live in a certain kind of lifestyle, right, and they land them where they landed, when they come home, if they family take them in, they don't make whoever take them in. And at some point, if you struggling to get a job, the people around you at some point saying, man, you need to get up and do something. And that's something totally different for a lot of people. You need to get out and find a job.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people internalize, man, you need to do something.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, but that something is what I know best. That's going back out in the streets.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So we have to be real careful as we wrapping around people, the type of language that we actually use. Because I'm telling you, a lot of the dudes that, I mean, that's what that means for them. Yeah, you need to get up and do something, man.
Okay, yeah, well, this is all I know.
I
Especially
know.
if I done been in there through all of my adult.
I know I can go do
Yeah.
this. And so, and that's something totally different, like I said, than encouraging and being there, like you said, to, you know, I may have some stuff to do, but I'm still gonna try to do what I can to get you to this job or
Right.
something. You see what I'm saying, to help you, so you know, you know,
some
just kind of
opportunities, have something.
right.
And so, as it comes to the tail end, we got to talk about how you got your freedom. And
Right.
what was that process like?
Right.
Being able to fight the system, continuously have hope and knowing that you
Right.
know, preparing for freedom, but actually still having to become a
Deal with it,
paralegal
right.
and go through that process and get the support and
Right.
be able, you know what I'm saying, to be
Right.
able to say, to prove your innocence.
Right. Man, I was really fortunate. I really was. You know, in terms of, like I said, I always had my family because they knew I was innocent, and also too, I've always, I mean, through that process, there was always people, you know, in and out of my life that, you know, helped me keep looking forward. And so, and the thing that happened for me, I actually met my wife. I met my wife in 91. 90, I think it was when we first met, because she was working for an anti-death penalty organization at the time, and they used to actually host these art shows for those of us who are on death row. That once a year, they did, you know, if you was an artist, they would, you know, use our artwork to not only raise awareness about the death penalty, but also too gave us an opportunity if somebody bought it. I think they took maybe 5 or 10% of whatever it was, and they would give us the money. And so the year that I met my wife, she happened to be the coordinator, you know, rounding up, you know, the stuff from the prison to for the annual art show or whatever. And you know, I had, I think, a couple of few pieces of artwork that I, you know, submitted.
Yeah.
And that kind of sparked this conversation, dialogue between us, because she seen my stuff and she said that, I mean, it was kind of standout, you know, because I was not one of them people that, hey, I'm trying to paint what I want to see. I mean, a lot of art you see coming out of prison, and I certainly know it's not that, you know, try to diminish what it is, because you got some heck of a artists. I'm talking about hell of artists sitting in jails and prisons, right? And so, but a lot of them, you know, would kind of have these themes of jail and prison in them.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, it was like
You thinking outside of here.
man, I'm trying to paint what I want to see, right?
Right.
And so, so my stuff, you know, just was a little different. And like I said, that sparked this, you know, this kind of dialogue between us. And I think 5 or 6 years after we met, my wife, and we weren't married at the time. We didn't get married till I came home, actually. But about 5 or 6 years or so after we met, my wife went to law school, actually, right here at Vanderbilt, and she won't tell people this, but I always do. She actually graduated head of the class, right?
Oh, okay.
She did.
Yeah.
So, and so she did a lot of work in terms of, because I was not one of them people that's sitting in prison. I mean, hell, if you extended your hand to me in friendship, I mean, listen, you can help me get out of here. It wasn't even important for you to know why I was sitting there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because I know that most people, you walking down the street and say, person telling them they innocent sitting in jail, most people, oh hell, everybody in jail say innocent.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
Everybody here innocent.
Right. So which is total lie, because most people, 98% of the people sitting in prison plead guilty. So that's a lie too, right?
Yeah.
That's the misinformation
Right.
that the people put out. So when somebody do come along, it's like me and many other people saying that I'm innocent. It's like, oh, we can easily write this off, but everybody in prison saying. So I was not one of them people.
To be going and yelling around.
I mean, like I said, if you listen, you can help me get out of here. That I ain't finna tell you none of that stuff, because I'm more interested in, whatever that connection is, and I ain't want to jade it.
Yeah.
By this idea, oh, here's somebody else talking about they innocent. You see what I'm saying? So, but my wife, she went to law school and was very instrumental. In helping uncover the truth. But the main thing she did, she was actually able to recruit one of the 50 largest law firms in this country out of New York to take my case.
Yeah.
And so, and that was the thing that, that really just kind of began to break, because they had the resources, to do the work.
Yeah.
And them lawyers, it's a law firm is Cleary, Gottlieb, Steen, and Hamilton, right? And like I said, it's one of the 50 largest in this country. But like I said, they had the resources to come in. And them people worked on my case for like 17 years.
Wow.
Before they, finally brought me home.
2012.
Yeah, June 1st, 2012 when I came home.
It took 17
17 years.
With all the evidence, all the discovery, they still bring you home.
You're right.
Man.
Yeah, it took 17 years, and
just waiting, just knowing, like, hey, we got this. Is that just the bureaucracy of everything? Just the process.
They I mean, it's a good thing, because I mean, if the process would have been any faster, then I would have been executed, right? Yeah. But fortunately for me, I happen to be in their state, because you got some other states. I mean, here you sitting on death row 4, 5, 6, 7 years and being executed, and so so fortunately for me that it happened here, rather than somewhere like Texas or some other damn place. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But
man,
it's a slow process. Yeah. Like I said, they worked on my case for 17 years.
So
before I finally came home.
17 years. Your wife go to law school.
Yeah.
She gathered the team.
Right.
Get one of the biggest top 50 law firms in the United States. They bring you home. You come home.
Right.
What is that feeling like?
Man.
What is the first thing you ate? What did you do?
Literally, when I came home, the morning I came home, it was like a little bed and breakfast not far from the county jail down there in Memphis, and we went to sit down, and I tried to eat everything that I had been denied: pancakes, biscuits, real eggs, all kind of, what I mean?
Right.
Because I stopped eating meat while I was in prison.
Okay.
And that was way back in the damn late 80s that I stopped eating meat in prison, right? Because I'm telling you, the food ain't
ain't nutritional.
Stuff they shoving in the door talking about this beef or whatever they. I don't know if you ever seen fluorescent color bologna.
Nah.
You ever seen?
Yeah, I don't want to see it either.
They would serve us bologna sometime. You know how you catch a bird in the light and see all them damn colors?
Yeah, that's how it was.
You would see this.
Light, like that.
You would see this on this bologna, and
You became plant-based. You became vegetarian.
Because, one thing is too, that was always a mystery, right? And, but I read a book. That was one thing too, while I was sitting in prison. Like I said, I was a prolific reader. Yeah. I'm talking about I read a couple of thousand books or more for sure. And And even though that fiction certainly has value,
Yeah.
I wasn't reading fiction up in there. I'm reading something I can learn something
Yeah.
from. If it wasn't, I mean, that was my entertainment.
Yeah.
If you could say that, even though I wasn't looking for entertainment.
Biographies, things like that.
I'm reading
yeah.
stuff that's,
History,
you know,
yeah.
preparing me to come out and be a productive person, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, that morning, man, I walked out of that jail. We went around there. I stuffed myself. I'm talking about, man. You know what? I didn't. I got out on the Friday morning, June 1st, 2012. I ain't shut my eyes to go to sleep till Monday morning.
You was up, turning up.
I swear to God, I ain't shut my eyes and go to sleep. You know what I mean? I didn't want to share. I'm saying, hey, I didn't want this to end. That's
Right.
how happy I was.
And so how many years are we removed from? So you've been out to 11 years.
Yeah.
How's this 11 years been? How's this 11
man.
years been treating you? Now you're home. You've been home 11 years.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I don't have no complaints. You know what? My life is a few things. I tell people, man, you can't make this stuff up in terms of, you know, what's been happening for me in life. You know, one of the things, I'll give you an example. I'm sitting in prison. I got pictures on this phone. I'm sitting in prison. It's out. You know where the prison sit out there. You know that little small airport by the prison, first off. And you know the international airport is not far from the prison. Every time I would see a plane fly over the prison, I don't care what I was doing. If I was by myself or with somebody, I'm interrupting the conversation, boy, there go my ride there, right? I don't care where it's landing, I need to be on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And, so when I come home, they had this group, educators from like Vanderbilt, Meharry, and some of these schools around here, that they would have like this little breakfast club, and they would invite people to come.
Yeah.
You know, and just talk to them or whatever. And so somehow they got wind of me and invited me to come and just, you know, share my story with them or whatever the case is. And so I'm just doing that.
Yeah.
And the story I just told you about these planes, I told that story, and I didn't know why I was telling it at the time, but I know in the end why I told it. Because when I got through with the presentation, this brother came up to me. His name is Lou Outlaw. I don't know if you know Lou Outlaw, but he used to be a professor at Vanderbilt. He retired now, right? And that's somebody you need to be in touch with for sure.
Yeah. And
I'll tell you that in a minute. But he came up to me and said, hey, man, I fly planes from that prison out there, and I'm going to take you up and fly you over to prison. In fact, I'm going to let you fly over to prison when we get up there, right? I didn't do that, but this brother took me up, right? I'm going to show you, he actually
took you up over the prison.
Took me up over the prison. If I can, let me see here.
Wow.
I want to get in my,
And Ndume looking for them pictures. He gonna show me these pictures right quick.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to show you this because I want you to, when I say you can't make this stuff up, right?
Wow.
So, and if you scroll through there, you'll see, like I said,
wow.
Well, this me getting on there before I get on the plane, right?
Yeah.
And
wow.
There
That's
go
over
to
the
prison. You see what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I bring this story up to tell you when you say what life has been like for me since I've been home, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, cause I told you I was always preparing myself for freedom.
Yeah.
And it's like when I came home, the stuff that I was doing in prison, I'm talking about trying to prevent some people from ending up in prison. When I come home, 6 months after I'm home, even before the 6 months, but 6 months after I was home, I officially started working for the Children's Defense Fund.
Okay.
And I'm working for them,
right.
The Children's Defense Fund. and we working around this whole school to prison pipeline.
Yeah.
So the stuff that I was doing in prison, I'm telling you, youngsters coming in, I'm telling them you don't want to be in here, and some more stuff, making tapes and writing letters to juveniles and the sentence and more stuff, right? That so I come out and I land that job, and for 5 years did a lot of good work with CDF, and it's like another example. I come home a couple of days after I come home. Man, I ain't drove a car in 28 years.
Yeah.
I get behind the steering wheel just to drive around the block. And it was like I never stopped driving.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and that's just an example when you say how things have been for me.
Right.
It's been like that, but I don't want people to think somehow my situation is typical of most people getting out of jail. I mean, most people getting out of prison for sure, struggling, you know, because of everything that we talked about. You don't have family and community supporting you.
Were you able to get any type of financial compensation from the state of Tennessee?
No, I'm still working on that.
Wow. Wow.
You know, because these people, they don't never want to admit that they was wrong.
Yeah.
And so, in the mission, you know, the thing about, in my case, I sit in prison long enough to actually go off for parole. And so everybody around me, first time off of death row, you denying that you committed a crime, you ain't gonna never be granted parole.
Yeah.
First time I go off for parole, I was granted parole, but I would have been out on parole within like 2 weeks before the court finally said that I shouldn't have been there in the first place. You see what I'm saying? But I was about to be sent home on parole.
So with everything being, you being exonerated, you didn't do it. Is that off your record?
No, because what I ended up doing was entering to what they call an alpha plea, which is a best interest plea that basically you know, where I was able to go before the court, maintain my innocence, but in my best interest, rather than, you know, sitting in the county jail for another 2-3 years or possibly longer, while these people, you know, play these games, because I know they never would have took me back to trial, and if they took me back to trial, I don't have no doubt that I would have had a sensible jury that would have seen through all the lies, because we had the proof. We had the proof at that point. But you know, I entered into that plea. But like I said, I'm in the process of now. You know, because they got a new DA down in Memphis. And what they done created, you know, conviction integrity unit and that stuff there. So that's giving me opportunity to go back down there and say to them that this what y'all did to me, and you should be
compensating.
That y'all should be liable for. So
man, and Ndume, look, we can go on for another hour, man.
Oh yeah,
man,
this some good stuff, man. I
appreciate you, but I want to leave you with the last word. If there's anything that you just want to leave to the listeners and the watchers, just about your life experience, about social justice, hope, or preparing for freedom, whatever that is. I want to give you that moment to leave with the last word.
I want to say this here first off, that I'm saying that you know, wherever we find ourselves at, I'm telling you, there's always somebody worse off than us. And I'm saying that what we have to do is have the capacity to reach out and uplift other people, because I'm telling you, that's what's going to uplift us. And I'm saying for people that's, if you got family and people that you know, love, or whoever they is, that you sitting in jail, in prison, I'm telling you, reach out to them. Most people sitting in prison don't get mail, don't get visits, and none of that stuff there. And I'm telling you, that contributes to those people being able to come out and be successful or not. That, you know, based on that. And I'm telling you, it's an industry. I mean, when you got an industry that's operating around us, that, here you got people sitting up, and they will certainly be sitting up in the morning around boardroom tables looking at kids based on the zip codes they come out of, the second and the third grade, projecting their future profits about how many prison bed spaces they're going to need. And I'm saying that you have to educate your kids about that. You have to do everything that you possibly can to make sure that they don't fall into this trap, because it is a trap. You got some people who would rather see us sitting on a prison compound rather than the college campus, and it costs less money to educate you here. So you already know what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
And Ndume,
Yeah.
till next time.
Yeah.
Appreciate
next time. No, I think there's some great stuff.